It was her first day at Ridgewood High. The sky was heavy with clouds, gray and quiet, just like the mood that followed Liana as she walked through the school gates. She held her backpack tight against her shoulder, her uniform crisp and neat, her skirt pressed perfectly. She had transferred from another city just a week ago after her mother's job had forced them to move again. She didn't like attention. She never did. But something about her calm presence, her quiet walk, and those sharp, steady eyes under her bangs already made her stand out. The hallway buzzed with laughter and voices. Teenagers leaned against lockers, some whispering, some throwing paper balls. Liana kept her head down. She didn't need new friends, not today. She just wanted to finish school in peace. But peace is something bullies never let exist. 3 boys leaned against the wall near her locker. Troy, Blake, and Mason. They were the type everyone knew. Loud, arrogant, always in a pack. The kind who laughed louder than they needed to. Troy's voice carried through the hall. "Hey, new girl," he called out. "You lost or something?" Liana froze for a second, then turned slowly. Her face was neutral, calm. "No," she said softly. "I'm fine." That tone, not scared, not proud, just calm, irritated Troy. He smirked, stepping forward. "Fine? You're in our hallway, sweetheart." Blake chuckled. "Yeah, maybe she thinks she's special?" Liana ignored them, turned the combination lock, and opened her locker. She didn't realize silence could make people so angry. Blake reached out and flicked the edge of her skirt with his finger, smirking. "Hey, relax. We're just saying he." Liana stepped back instantly, her eyes flashing for a split second. A flash no one caught, except Mason. "Whoa, she's got attitude." Mason laughed. "Careful, she might scratch." Students nearby turned to look. Whispers started. "That's the new girl? They're messing with her already?" "Oh man." But Liana didn't speak. She took a deep breath and said, "Please don't touch me." Troy tilted his head. "Or what?" His voice was playful, but there was challenge in his grin. He took another step, then another. Liana stood perfectly still. The air felt tense, like static before lightning. Then Troy reached out again, this time pretending to tug lightly at the hem of her skirt. "What's wrong, new girl?"
"You shy?"
That was when time froze. Her hand moved so fast that none of them saw what happened until Troy's wrist was twisted behind his back, his knees buckling from the pressure. His grin vanished, replaced by a scream that echoed through the hallway. "Ag, what the—" "Let go." Students gasped. Desks shook. Someone dropped their phone. Liana's voice was calm. "I said don't touch me." Her grip was firm, her stance solid, balanced like someone trained for years. Troy struggled, but she twisted her body slightly, locking his wrist in place until he winced in pain. "You think this is funny?" she whispered, her voice low but clear. Blake rushed forward. "Hey, let him go." He swung at her shoulder. A stupid move. Liana ducked, her body rotating with precision, her hand catching Blake's arm mid-swing. A quick flick, a crack. Blake shouted, clutching his wrist, falling to the floor. Mason froze, his face pale. "What the? What is she?" Liana stepped back, releasing Troy, who stumbled to his knees. The hallway went silent except for his groaning. She didn't look angry. She looked calm, terrifyingly calm. "Next time," she said, her voice steady, "remember what no means." The principal's door opened down the hall. "What's going on here?" Mr. Reynolds shouted. Students scattered, whispering. Liana adjusted her sleeve quietly and said nothing. Troy tried to speak, but his voice broke. "She attacked me?" Mr. Reynolds frowned, looking between the 3 boys and the quiet girl standing alone. "Is that true?" he asked her. Liana looked up, meeting his eyes without fear. "They harassed me," she said softly. "I defended myself." Something in her tone silenced him. He looked at the 2 boys still wincing in pain and sighed. "All of you. My office. Now." As they walked down the hall, whispers followed her. "Did you see that? She broke his wrist. She's like a ninja or something." But Liana didn't react. She walked calmly, her heart steady. Inside, though, she was shaking, not from fear, but from the old memory of another school, another hallway, another time she had been forced to fight. In the principal's office, the boys tried to twist the story. "She went crazy," Troy insisted. "We were just joking." Liana sat straight, her hands folded. "You grabbed me," she said. "That's not a joke." The Mr. Reynolds exhaled, pinching the bridge of his nose. "This is serious," he said. "Violence is unacceptable from anyone." Liana's expression didn't change. "Then stop the cause," she replied quietly. because silence never saved anyone. The room fell silent. Even Mr. Reynolds didn't know what to say. An hour later, the situation calmed. The boys were sent to the nurse. Liana was told to wait for her mother. But word had already spread. Every student in Ridgewood High was talking about the new girl who broke 2 wrists before lunch. At the cafeteria, students whispered as she walked by. Some looked afraid, some looked impressed. A few even clapped softly when she passed, but Liana didn't smile. She just sat at an empty table, quietly unwrapping her sandwich, her thoughts far away. She remembered her father's voice, a man who taught her to never fight unless there was no choice. Power isn't about hurting people, he used to say. It's about control. Calm beats chaos always. She took a deep breath. He was gone now, lost in an accident last year. But his lessons never left her. Every time she was cornered, she remembered his words. Every time someone tried to break her, she remembered that calm is strength. A girl from another table walked up to her. "Hey," she said softly. That was insane, but they deserved it. Liana looked up, surprised. The girl smiled nervously. "I'm Ava. People like them think they own this place. You showed them otherwise." Liana smiled faintly for the first time that day. "I didn't want to hurt anyone," she said. "But some people only learn when it hurts." Ava nodded. "Well, whatever you did, they won't mess with anyone for a while." But just then, near the cafeteria doors, Mason appeared again. His wrist wrapped in a bandage, his eyes cold. "This isn't over," he muttered under his breath, glaring at her. Liana looked back, her calm unbroken. "You're right," she said softly. "It's not." And in that quiet stare something changed. Everyone watching could feel it, a storm brewing beneath that calm face. The lunch bell rang, but the whispers didn't stop. That was the day Ridgewood High learned that not every quiet girl is weak, and not every bully gets to walk away smiling. Liana sat still, her gaze drifting toward the window where sunlight broke through the clouds. A small smirk appeared on her lips, not of arrogance, but of peace. For the first time, she felt something powerful inside her, not rage but control. Tomorrow would bring more challenges. But today, she had set one thing straight. No one would ever play with her dignity again.